proceed. So today we will be actually looking at the introductory part. Today there is no extensive concept building of any engineering management concept, but to tell you why engineering management or why engineering management science is there, and what is the core knowledge area from which it is emerging, and what is going to be our philosophy of developing your core concepts. So it is an introductory session, and redefining engineer's role, that is what we are going to say, and we are going to discuss what is engineering management science, the basics of engineering management, and how conceptually how it is made. So we are going to talk about it from knowledge management point of view. Knowledge management point of view. What is the essence or core of engineering management science, and how this theme is developed, and how this theme is progressing, and why this theme is progressing. So today's discussion is going to be, I hope it is a dialogue. I'm sure it will be a dialogue, but it actually encompasses the core concept of engineering management, and why we are having this course, and what is the basics of this course. All right, so let's begin right away. So first I'll just say this. So I always start with something, something a little poetic. So I don't have malice against anybody except one who believes in status quo. So our theme will be that we want to change management mechanisms, or as engineers, what change can we develop and what change can we actually envisage. So this is how we are going to discuss this. We are going to discuss engineering management in the context or in the environment of changing the status quo, or having or acting as a catalyst of change. Change of? शेयर मेरा अपना नहीं है यार, काश होता. I will contact Yasser for that. Okay, so engineering management or engineering management science is an open field right now. We have a very large canvas, and anything which fits under this engineering education background is for us. We don't have any limits. Engineering management encompasses, it starts from your production facilities, it goes to your procurement echelons, it goes to your human resource aspects, it goes to your financial aspects. So it is not that you can confine engineering management to one domain. So this slide actually tells you that sky is the limit. We don't have any one particular area in mind once we are talking about engineering management science. In the preceding slides, I will tell you that how this knowledge base is built, and why engineering management science is so important, and why we are going to discuss those things. Okay, so engineering management solutions or engineering managers, they utilize a soft scope. Everything you have discussed in engineering or studied in engineering, it was really hardcore. For example, integration, multiplication, etc., the formulas, the hardcore science. But now I am trying to emphasize that engineering management is a little softer approach. It does not mean that it is not important. It is important, but it actually encompasses, or it focuses on certain areas which are extension of the core engineering disciplines. So you will be hearing a lot about the human resource part, or the project management part, or the supply chain part, or the logistics part for that matter. So it is a soft approach applied to an engineer. This is insanity defined. Okay, doing the same old thing and expecting different results. If you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you have always got. So engineering management is deviation from the status quo and deviation from the normal repetitions. That is what is engineering management. You want to deviate from the status quo, and you want to deviate from the normal path which actually has led to you to the same conclusion over and over again. So change is the basic thing. So we can say that change is the essence of engineering management science. And we will be discussing everything in this context. We will be discussing project management, we will be discussing the optimization, we will discuss in linear programming, because how you can handle change. You know, engineers, as engineers, I have around a decade of experience. You guys all are having technical backgrounds. You know, we are actually used to stereotypical inputs and outputs because we are process bound. If an engineer cannot change his or her attitudes and his or her total process due to the external environments, that engineer is not there to survive. So change management and breaking of status quo. So we are actually talking about shifting the focus from a typical engineer to an engineering man. You see, typical engineer is having glasses. No malice against the glasses because there are many people in the class right now. But an engineering manager is a smart person who has a knack of the management also. So that person is not only focusing on the technicalities, that person is also focusing on the surroundings. Okay, so this is how we are going to do. You have your prior knowledge. Okay, you must have your prior knowledge. So you have around 30 years of experience. So everybody has, you know, some knowledge. What we are going to do, or what this subject is going to do, is that we are going to combine the prior knowledge with the new content. So nothing is new. Nothing is new. I'm not going to teach any rocket science. Nothing is new. Everything is known to you. What we are going to do is that we are going to use that knowledge, which I call tacit knowledge. This knowledge is known as tacit knowledge. So this tacit knowledge will be used, and it will be converted into engineering management concepts. So I'll be talking about tacit knowledge in detail in the preceding slides. That is what we are going to do. We are going to convert that tacit knowledge into the applied knowledge of an engineering manager. And of course it will make sense because you have tacit knowledge and you have new concepts, new content, not concepts. Okay, it's not new concept, new content, and the perfect match will have the sense. So we are combining your prior knowledge with new content to give you a sensible solution. That is what we are going to do. Okay, so this is understanding. This is an understanding of engineering management. A sense making and personal affair. Educational process is a facilitator. So I am here as a facilitator. I am not here as an instructor or a teacher or a professor who is teaching you something new. One who can understand even without learning. You can understand those concepts even without learning. You don't have to learn anything. You just have to apply your tacit knowledge to these new content, and you will actually lead the way in having new concepts. Okay, so this is how we are going to go about it. So this is the higher order engineering skills which we define. The least is remembering, then understanding, application, analysis, evaluation, and creation. So this all of engineering management science is built upon those building blocks, which are the building blocks of engineering skills. Okay, so we are actually going to apply new approaches or new ideas, or the ideas which you already have, then analyze them, then evaluate them, and then create maybe something very new. And by the way, engineering management is such a field that new knowledge areas and new concepts and new dimensions are constantly being created right now. It is not that it is a stagnant field or it is there. It's a very new thing. Okay, so this is the basic theme. We want that our participants, not students, are to be motivated and enabled for thinking. This is what we want. That you should think, you should be able to grasp the situation, and you should be able to think and give us the solution. That I'm sure you already are doing, in whatever fields you are actually applying yourselves. But this is a formal way of getting the things right. Okay, so this is this slide is very interesting because I made it with a lot of effort. Number one. So what I am trying to do is I have actually modeled engineering management on an addict. You see, those are the characteristics of an addict. Addict takes charge. Okay, addict has extreme urge for dose, extreme satisfaction after the dose. You know, if you have seen an addict closely, urge increases with time and willing to do anything. So now we are trying to transform an addict into an EM-dict or addict. So at the end of this whole thing, what we expect is that you should have an urge of seeing the problems and trying to automatically go towards the solution. So our aim is that we are not going to leave engineers in the workshops, because engineers right now are not meant for workshops only. They are problem solvers, not just the technical people who are trying to be part of the solution. They are actually problem solvers. So that is what we are going to be. Of course, we are going to have connection with the source. Our source is engineering. Our technical source is engineering or technical backgrounds. We are going to have that connection. But in addition to that, we are going to give solutions.
What is this water tank?
It is the source. Okay.
Water is scarce nowadays.
Yeah, water is scarce nowadays. So that's why water tank. Maybe I should have replicated with a transformer, because electricity is more scarce. Okay, so yeah, we'll be modeling everything around technology. That's why you'll be seeing lots of softwares. Okay, I'm introducing Tora in this semester, maybe another one in the next semester, optimization software. So you will be seeing lots of softwares and technologies and whatever is happening around the world in the field of engineering management. So for a better harvest, we have to dig deep, and we will dig deep. We will see that how problems emerge and how you can solve them. So QFD or quality function deployment, I'm sure that in the next class, in the next class, I'll be having that person in front of you. You will see that how in telephone industry of Pakistan the problems emerged and how they were actually solved by quality function deployment. The technique, which is very, very easy, very common sense technique, but you know, that team actually used that technique to solve certain quality related problems. Okay, so we have lots of diversity. Let's talk about engineers and let's talk about tacit knowledge for a while. Pakistani society is diverse, so our engineers are very diverse. Our engineers belong to various backgrounds. Okay, some are from, although they were very intelligent, rural areas. Some are from English medium schools, etc., etc. So we have our strengths and weaknesses. What are those strengths and weaknesses? You see, strengths of our engineers or our technical people. We have multi-processing capabilities. We can multitask. Okay, we are curious. The technical people are multilingual and hardworking and intelligent, of course. But then there are certain weaknesses. Why the engineers, they cannot strive or thrive at the end? Why a businessman is always there? Because driving force is fear of job, fear of anything else, fear of doing something wrong. That fear is actually stalled in an engineer or in an engine what he or she is working on in a workshop, and that fear actually demotivates that person to remain in the workshop. Fear of unknown, maybe. That's why. Okay, overall approach is not positive, and habit of living with the problem. So engineers, they actually problem solving skills are such that they are always encountered with the problems. So they have a habit of living with the problems. They cannot have a solution which is out of the box sometimes. So these are maybe some of the weaknesses of our engineers. So sky is the limit. We have various opportunities available to us. So these are the 4-5 areas which we are going to focus in this subject. 5 areas. What are those? Developing of engineering mindset, then development of intellectual tools, which includes, of course, certain tools and techniques which I'll be talking about. Then enhancing knowledge about engineering and engineering management, enhancing knowledge about the subject, of course, and connectivity with possessed knowledge. That is very important. That's why I have turned it yellow. That I will always be connecting every concept with your tacit knowledge, with your achieved knowledge or acquired knowledge. Tacit knowledge में तीसरे और चौथे में knowledge about, okay, this is this knowledge about engineering management. It was actually engineering management. Okay, and those knowledge about subjects is the subjects on which engineering management is based upon. So what I'm trying to say is that general knowledge about engineering management and all of the knowledge about the subjects through which that whole curriculum is made of. So both of these, or which can be applied, or on the subjects which actually constitute the whole engineering management subject, whole engineering management umbrella. But the basic thing is the connectivity with your possessed or tacit knowledge. That is very important. because I'm not here to teach you something very new. Yes, I'm here to explore what you have already discussed and how to use it. So we are here. We are going to give you a free edge which is above the conventional approach. Okay, so this is the engineering management mindset. This is how we are going to develop, and this is how we are going to go about in this course. Okay, we are going to see engineer as a solution provider. Engineer should be able to define a problem. By problem, I don't mean a technical problem, but an engineering management problem.
Or to create a problem.
Or how to create a problem. Or how to solve a problem. And the ability of an engineer to estimate. No, you know, I am estimating, I am not actually envisaging the estimating in pure engineering sense. I am trying to estimate according to the changing external environments. For example, if your production is going low, what are you going to do? If your capacity is going low, what are you going to do? If there is electricity failure, how you are going to increase the efficiencies? What is lean? How are you going to make your systems lean? What is the procurement process? Okay, what is the channel management process? So all of these things. So it is beyond the basic engineering thing. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Account for attitude, the HR aspect. You know, you must have experienced lot of human resource management skills in your professional careers, but we are going to talk about it as a subject in this field. So you'll be extensively given some brief introductions to various human resource things in technical concerns, the HR aspect. I'm sure that you must have, in your 30 years of service, sir, you must have learned a lot. So, but now we are going to formalize some things. Systems engineering, you know, system thinker. What is a system, by the way? System किसे कहते हैं? That is built up of logic. Okay. Anybody else? Sir, what is a system?
Maybe AI system create करना चाहते हैं using the engineering management skills, which is better than the earlier one. That system you should be able to think on that line.
What is
solution provider now?
What is systems engineering? You must have heard about this word. Systems engineering, systems approach.
It means a system in which you give the inputs and the desirable output can be obtained. Any inputs which goes in, maybe based on the output you decide about what input should be given to the system so that my system works according to some phenomenon and gives me that desired output.
Then what's the process?
How the inputs are converted into outputs.
So then what's the difference between a process and a system?
Maybe there will be number of processes inside a single system.
A system is basically a blend of the processes, the inputs, the outputs, and the procedures that are taking place.
Okay.
It's a blend of all of them.
So process is something having an input and an intermediary and an output, right? This is a process. Suppose you have a process A and then you have a process B having the same input and an output. You can have n processes, nth number of processes. But suppose that if process A is dependent upon process B, or both of them are dependent upon another process C. Okay. Now this whole situation or this whole paraphernalia is known as a system. So in a system you have multiple processes, okay, working independently or dependently, but one thing is common, that every process is somehow linked or related with another process. Okay, but if it is not linked, they cannot be part of one system. For example, there is a thunderstorm building outside, so it has its own system, and there is a computer working inside, many processes, its own system, but the processes are not linked. If somehow that process is linked, then you have a system. Okay, so system engineering is what? System engineering is once you are trying to look everything or a particular phenomenon in form of a system. Okay, so systems have subsystems. So if you have a system, then it can have subsystems, and those subsystems can have processes. All right, and the processes are based on what? Processes are based on tasks. No, activities. And activities are based on tasks. So this is the hierarchy. You have tasks at the bottom, then you have activities, then you have a process, and then you have a subsystem, and then you have a system. So this is the hierarchy. So once you talk about systems approach, you're actually talking about all of this penetration through, lateral penetration till the task level. So now imagine that if you have a system in which there is some change happening. It can be a divergent change or it can be a convergent change. This is what? This is delta. This is delta na? And what is this? डॉक्टर साहब ये क्या होता था? एक डेल्टा था, दूसरा नेबुला होता था. हाँ नहीं, ये तो डेल्टा था ना, वो नेबुला है ना, नेबुला लैम्डा है, नेबुला लैम्डा तो ये होता था. हाँ, इसको नेबुला कहते हैं. Nebula. Few classes in structural engineering from IST. Okay, so that change can be divergent or convergent, whatever it is. So as an engineering manager, you have to see that change. और फिर उस change को systems तक नहीं रखना, because that change is going to penetrate till task level. So उस change को आपने task level तक ले जाना है, और फिर उसका feedback. So system engineering is not about this. System engineering is also about the feedback loop which you can generate. Feedback loop, very important. System engineering में अगर feedback निकाल दे तो system रहता ही नहीं है वो. क्योंकि why? Because system जो है फिर वो improve नहीं करता. Because you want continual improvement of system, not continuous improvement. What is the difference between continual and continuous? One is continual improvement, one is continuous improvement. I am discussing these things because we are going to use these terms very frequently. One is continuous improvement, because you don't at some times you want it, but this is continuous improvement of a system, and one is continual improvement of a system. So can anyone tell me the difference?
Continuous improvement means keep on improving upon whatever system you have.
Okay.
And continual improvement of a system means that it's not the system that is being only improved, it is the going ahead with that improvement.
Going ahead with the server. To me it's very simple. Continuous is like this. You are improving and you have a certain target and you are moving towards that target. And continual is like this. Yeah. Because in continual what you do is that you make an improvement and then you stay there. You stabilize over there. Why? Yeah, why? Because in this phase you are getting the feedback. In this phase you are getting the feedback, and then an incremental improvement, and then the feedback, and then an incremental improvement, and then the feedback. So what we want is that we want to continually improve the system. An engineering manager should be able to continually improve the system. Okay? So what are the changes which will happen to a system and in an engineering management point of view? What can be the changes? किस तरह की change आ सकती है? किस तरह की change आएगी? Okay, so this is the difference between continuous and continual. अब देखिए change किस तरह की आती है. अगर production layout की बात करते हैं, so change can be in capacity, change can be in efficiencies, okay, so change can be in effectiveness. So these are the changes, okay, capacity, efficiency, effectiveness, production, scheduling. Quality is an effect, quality is a result. Quality is a result of this change, not the change itself. डेल्टा को हमने कौन सा ये वाला हाँ वो इस तरह से कि चेंज एक तो डाइवर्जेंट हो सकती है, कन्वर्जेंट हो सकती है, ओके सो एक तो डाइवर्जेंट है ना कि चेंज आ रही है और आती चली जा रही है, डिविएशन ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड बढ़ता चला जा रहा है, और एक है कि चेंज जो है वो हाँ कन्फाइन होती जा रही है, आप नैरो डाउन कर रहे हैं. नाउ दैट चेंज इज ऑल्सो नॉट गुड. व्हाई? मैं कहता हूँ जी स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दें जी, आप कहते हैं जी कि मैं जो ना इसको फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट्स टेक अ प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस 35 प्लस माइनस 0.0002 कोई चीज़ आई, या आप कहते हैं जनाब के इसको भी छोड़ें चलें, एक प्रोडक्ट है, हमने उस प्रोडक्ट की सारी क्वालिटीज़ को मीट कर लिया, ठीक है, हमने उसमें चेंज ही ख़त्म कर दी, चेंज ख़त्म कर दी ना, स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दिया ना, तो नुकसान क्या होगा? स्टैंडर्डाइज करने का नुकसान क्या हो सकता है? एग्जैक्टली. देखिए नाउ दिस इज थिंकिंग फ्रॉम एन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. अगर इंजीनियर होगा तो कहेगा यार ठीक है मेरा काम तो हो गया ना, ओके डेज ऑफ, लेकिन एक इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट ये नहीं सोच सकता, इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर, बिकॉज वो पॉइंट ऑफ कंजम्पशन को भी देख रहा है. Okay, so your one eye is in production and your other eye is at the demand or the point of consumption, where what the customer is saying. Because we are going to define quality in the preceding subject, in the preceding classes. Quality की definition बिल्कुल change हो गई है. What is quality? क्या है quality? Anybody? Any wild guesses? Maybe you know. User specification. What the customer wants. Full stop. ठीक है. अगर specifications ठीक है, अगर customer वो नहीं चाहता, quality खत्म है आपकी. Sorry sir, do something else. Yes, if you are providing something according to customer perception, you are of quality. Maybe you know it's ढीला डाला, no problems. ठीक है, this is quality. आजकल की definition change हो गई quality. So एक engineering management की आय इधर है और दूसरी जो है वो customer और point of consumption पे भी है. So इसका मतलब ये आ गया कि वही बात कि आपकी एक टांग इधर दूसरी उधर है. So you are multitasking all the time. So you have surface knowledge of many areas. Surface knowledge बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है इसके लिए, but आपका जो horizon है वो बहुत बड़ा हो रहा है as an engineering manager. All right. So देखिए ना ये these are the changes, some of the changes जो कि आ सकती हैं. So you are trying to continually improve on the face of those changes, and you are trying to continually improve the system. अब system कहाँ से कहाँ तक हो सकता है? देखिए सिस्टम सिर्फ एक फैक्ट्री की सिस्टम का नाम नहीं है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एज ए मैनेजर यू आर ट्राइंग टू, आप ऑर्डर डिलीवरी प्रोसेस के सिस्टम की इंप्रूवमेंट की बात कर रहे हो. ऑर्डर डिलीवरी प्रोसेस, एक चीज बन गई उसको डिलीवर भी तो करना है ना आगे तक, सप्लाई चेन आ जाती है ना उसमें, वो डिलीवर भी तो करना है ना, अंडर यू नो मे बी सर्टेन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑफ क्वालिटी. तो आप उस सिस्टम्स को भी इंप्रूव करना चाह रहे हो. So you are actually looking beyond the factory settings. You are actually looking beyond the production settings. You are actually looking at the order delivery processes as well. आखिर तक extension हो गई है, अब knowledge area extend कर गया आपका, उस system को भी improve करना है. Okay, so this is what is system. तो system बड़ा variable सा term है, एक छोटी सी चीज़ है, बहुत बड़ा expand भी कर सकता है चीज़ को. So this is systems. This is systems engineering. And this is what is meant by continual improvement of a system. Continually improve करते हो आप उस चीज़ को, और delivery process. For example, आप लोग remote diagnostics. What is remote diagnostics? ये क्या होता है? Remote diagnostics is कि once your product is with the customer, और उसको कस्टमर पे होते हुए you are not, आप recalls की बात नहीं कर रहे, उस वक्त होते हुए how you can remotely diagnose the problems. For example, आप एक इंटरनेट कनेक्शन लगवाते हो, अब इंटरनेट कनेक्शन लगा हुआ है, अब वहाँ से रिमोट डायग्नोस्टिक्स होती है. इफ यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम इन इंटरनेट कनेक्शन, यू एक्चुअली रिंग अप अ पर्सन एंड ही इज एक्चुअली डायग्नोजिंग द होल सिस्टम बाय टेलिंग यू समथिंग और बाय इंस्ट्रक्टिंग यू समथिंग. दिस रिमोट डायग्नोस्टिक्स. तो अब देखिए ना कि अब सिस्टम्स इंजीनियरिंग में या सिस्टम्स अप्रोच में इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट की एज एन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट रोल में आप पॉइंट ऑफ कंजम्पशन से भी आगे चलोगे, आप यूज में चलोगे उस चीज़ की. आप एक रिमोट डायग्नोस्टिक्स के भी अब इंचार्ज हो गए हो एज एन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर. यू वांट टू इंप्रूव दैट एज वेल, बिकॉज अगर वो नहीं होता तो आपका प्रोडक्ट मार खा जाएगा. बनाया बहुत अच्छा है लेकिन फिर भी मार खा गया. सो दिस इज द ब्रॉड होराइजन ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर. Okay, of course we are concentrating on mathematical thinking. हिसाब भी थोड़ा बहुत चलता है. Creativity is very important. Innovation is very important. Entrepreneurship is very important. All of these things. And presentational ability. Because engineering manager आजकल जो है, he or she should be able to present him or herself. Okay, so you have to be in a very presentable shape. वो technical, वो techies वाले हालात ख़त्म हो गए. Because अगर आपने business end को संभालना है, you need very good presentation skills, investigative expert and research oriented. So these are all the mindsets which we are talking about once you actually go for the engineering management mindset. Okay, so these are the intellectual tools. Okay, so we are talking about systems thinking, visual thinking, scientific thinking, of course, conceptual thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, and structured thinking. So what we are going to do is that in engineering management course, we are going to structure all of these things, trying to go it structured. Because अगर आप ज़्यादा structure करते हो ना इस चीज़ को, so you're moving from entrepreneurship to stewardship. वहाँ stewardship में मार खाओगे आप. What is stewardship? स्टूवर्डशिप क्या होती है? स्टूवर्डशिप, फ्लाइंग स्टूवर्ड. स्टूवर्डशिप. Stewardship is exactly opposite to entrepreneurship.
Means under subordination.
Under subordination, under strict rules, under well-defined rules. That is stewardship. So entrepreneurship is having a
Bossy.
yeah, having a no, not a bossy. Entrepreneurship is having a free sort of an atmosphere. Creative atmosphere. You have certain educational institutes which started as an entrepreneurial adventures and now they have converted into stewardship. The institute which we were talking about. Somehow you can give an example of that. So we don't want stewardship in your approach, because if you are stewardship, you are stereotypical. Okay, so it is a combination of entrepreneurship and stewardship, somewhere in between. And EM actually rise somewhere in between. Not in that end or not to that end as well. Okay, so this is how we're going to do. So let me test your knowledge. Can you answer these?
The first one is who has a bachelor's degree in engineering and registered with the
So that is a stereotypical answer. But anyways, what is an engineer? To you, what is an engineer?
Who has the ability to analyze problems and find or give solutions to them. Technical.
Yes, Umer, any ideas? We're just discussing. You can participate.
An engineer is the one who finds
Solutions.
And one
Okay.
engineer is the one who can find number of solutions and suggest the most optimal one.
Optimal one.
And he is not at the deciding power to decide which one should choose maybe in the setups.
Good. Sir, engineer.
technical solution provider.
Technical solution provider. Okay, so we all have our things, but engineer, the basic word from which it comes, it means smart man, smart solution provider.
Well, that they are.
Yeah, that they are. Okay, so
My answer is the closest.
yeah, your answer is the closest. But engineering manager is a person who not only finds a solution, but he has the authority to implement it as well, because you are also at the management point of thing. So that, okay. So what is the difference between an engineer and a scientist, and what is a technologist?
Engineer does not experiment.
Engineer does not experiment. Engineer has to experiment, yaar. Nahi?
Scientist means engineer maybe.
An engineer can be a scientist, but a scientist cannot be an engineer.
Oh my God. Yes. क्या डिफरेंस हो सकता है?
साइंटिस्ट होते हैं वो प्रैक्टिकल हैंडलिंग भी करते हैं.
इंजीनियर भी होता है वो तो.
फिजिक्स और केमिस्ट्री में जिसने किया
वो साइंटिस्ट होता है.
साइंटिस्ट में भी होता है, इंजीनियर में नहीं होता.
Ataur Rahman is an engineer or a scientist?
He is a scientist.
Sure.
Botany.
Better check that.
केमिस्ट्री में क्या?
देख लें. दोबारा चेक कीजिएगा. And what is a technologist?
In China, engineers are known as technologists.
Okay. But what is the difference? Because you know you have two terms coined. No, you know, because why I'm asking you this, because I'm going to relate it with EM. That's why. Okay. So Umer, sorry.
Technologists may not be the engineers and the scientists. There may be any from non-science background.
Anybody else? Technologist.
टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट एक पर्टिकुलर फील्ड के अंदर जो स्पेशलाइजेशन.
टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट इज अ प्रैक्टिशनर. प्रैक्टिशनर जो होता है ना, स्किल का प्रैक्टिशनर, स्किल का. हाँ, देखिए इंजीनियर के पास होता है ना प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल होता है. इंजीनियर के पास प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल होता है. वो जो और टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट के पास प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल शायद ना हो, लेकिन उसके पास वो जो फॉर्मुलेशन स्किल है ना, जो एक्चुअली जो उसका हुनर है, एक काम करने का हुनर जो है वो उसके पास होता है. वन फील्ड. फॉर एग्जांपल लेथ मशीन पे टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट काम करेगा, इंजीनियर वर्कशॉप फ्लोर पे होगा, क्योंकि उसके सामने लेथ मशीन भी होगी, मिलिंग मशीन भी होगी, वर्टिकल लेथ भी होगी. सो टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट जो है ना, ही इज एन एक्सपर्ट ऑफ ही इज अ वन डायमेंशनल गाय हु इज रियली एन एक्सपर्ट ऑन वर्किंग ऑन हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस उसके पास होता है. एज एन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर जो आप जो है ना, यू आर नॉट ओनली कंट्रोलिंग इंजीनियर्स बट टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट एज वेल. बिकॉज वर्कशॉप फ्लोर पे आपको टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट मिलेंगे काम करते हुए, इंजीनियर शायद ना मिले. सो इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट इज और इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर इज अ लिटिल स्टेप अहेड ऑफ द कन्वेंशनल इंजीनियर, बिकॉज ही इज लुकिंग एट इंजीनियर्स प्लस द टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट. दोनों चीज़ों को वो देख रहे हैं. Is there, yeah, sorry.
What about scientists?
What about scientists? Yeah.
Scientist is the one who experiments in laboratories.
He's a lab rat.
He's a lab rat. More or less.
More or less. You know, scientists. What is a scientist, by the way? साइंसदान क्या होता है? Okay, साइंसदान बन के.
Who specializes in any field of science? Science के बहुत सारे fields हैं. A scientist could be a specialist in either chemistry, chemical side, or
रिसर्च.
असल में साइंटिस्ट वो होता है जो थ्योरी वैलिडेशन या थ्योरी टेस्टिंग की तरफ जाता है. थ्योरेटिकल बैकग्राउंड से शुरू करता है चीज़ को और फिर उसको अप्लाइड साइड पे ले आता है. इंजीनियर अप्लाइड साइड का बंदा है. इंजीनियर थ्योरेटिकल फ्रेमवर्क्स को या थ्योरी को ऐसा चैलेंज नहीं करता, लेकिन जब वो ट्रांसफॉर्म करता है तो फिर कर सकता है. मतलब इफ एन इंजीनियर ट्रांसफॉर्म्स इनटू अ साइंटिस्ट देन दैट पर्सन कैन डू इट. तो साइंटिस्ट वो है जो कि he is actually looking after the theoretical frameworks or creation of new theories and ideas. Ideation की तरफ बात होती है, तो वो जो है ना वो ज़्यादातर वो साइंटिस्ट होता है. लेकिन उसकी there are hairline differences here and there. You cannot say कि एक engineer scientist नहीं हो सकता. Maybe an engineer is capable of thinking new things. Okay, so in how many roles an engineer can be employed in his own domain? कितने roles पे apply हो सकता है? आपका क्या ख्याल है? सिर्फ engineer के तौर पे और मैनेजर के तौर पे, सोल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर के तौर पे, कंसल्टेंट के तौर पे, सोल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर. सो यू नो दीज ऑल ऑफ दीज रोल्स कम अंडर इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट साइंस. इन सारे रोल्स पे हम बात करेंगे. हम प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट की जब बात करेंगे 5th वीक में, तो हम देख रहे होंगे इंजीनियर को एज अ डिसीजन मेकर. वो डिसीजन कर रहा होगा प्रोजेक्ट्स के हवाले से. ठीक है, तो इस तरह जब हम ऑप्टिमाइजेशन की बात करेंगे तो हम देखेंगे इंजीनियर को कि वो एज अ पर्सन हु इज एक्चुअली वर्किंग ऑन द वर्कशॉप फ्लोर्स. ओके, तो टाइम क्या? 5. ओके, ऑलराइट. सो
उसमें लास्ट में वो लास्ट क्वेश्चन, हु इज बेस्ट पेड?
हु इज बेस्ट पेड? जी, हु इज बेस्ट पेड?
The one who pays.
One who is performing multiple
Device.
One who can take multiple tasks out of the engineers maybe. Okay, so it's a relative thing who is best paid. But manager, engineering manager or managers are, you know, best paid. Okay, now let me ask you about these things. You know, because I actually told you that I'm going to build your knowledge base about engineering management. So, about subject knowledge, why calculus was invented? Anybody? What is calculus?
For ease of to make calculations.
Calculus होता क्या है? Counting.
Integration differentiation.
कैलकुलस की बेस क्या है? पढ़ा तो हमने भी बहुत है.
Abacus.
Abacus. Okay. Altamas. You know, calculus is the science of approximations. Approximation, अंदाजा करना. Yes, calculus was actually developed for approximation. आप अंदाजा कर रहे थे, approximate आप आंसर की तरफ जाते थे. That's why calculus was developed. Okay. Okay, for what Navier-Stokes equation were initially developed? There is a name of equation, Navier-Stokes equation. नाम सुना आपने कभी इसका? डॉक्टर साहब?
सुना हुआ है एरोस्पेस में हम जब वो
हाँ, बिल्कुल. सुना हुआ है, सबने मेरा ख्याल है सुना होगा सर आपने. इनकारी हो गए.
ये हम ढाई पट्टी में 3 पट्टी में सॉल्व करते हैं.
हाँ, हम करते थे. We have done it. Navier-Stokes.
You are from aerospace avionics.
Mechanical.
I'm mechanical.
अच्छा from NP.
अच्छा.
From Sharjah.
जी और सब बताए ना. Navier-Stokes equation क्यों डेवलप हुई थी शुरू में?
Exact reason नहीं पता.
Okay. We'll find that out.
इनको पसंद नहीं.
Okay, so these देखिए इस तरह की these are the questions which actually are based on what? Fundamental चीज़ क्या है इन slides में? What? How? So these are the questions which an engineering management has to ask. What or how? देखते हैं हम आगे बड़ी स्लाइड बनाई है इस बारे में. जी, why was it developed? जी, why was it developed?
Equations
हाँ, Navier-Stokes equation.
to solve the boundary layer problems maybe.
मल्टीपल इंटीग्रेशन के लिए इक्वेशन डेवलप हुई थी. इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, बिकॉज यू नो जो मैंने देखा था वो यही था इसका, जो मुझे विकीपीडिया में नज़र आया था. टू सॉल्व द इंटीग्रेशन प्रॉब्लम्स, दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज डेवलप्ड. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, आई मे बी रॉन्ग.
तो एज एन असाइनमेंट
नहीं छोड़ दे. ओके, मे बी
क्योंकि अगर होता तो
नो पता चलता हाँ.
बिल्कुल नहीं आना.
लेकिन एरोस्पेस के ज़्यादा रिलेटेड थी.
बेसिकली उस बंदे का नाम है.
हाँ, उस बंदे का नाम हो सकता है किसी और नाम से जानते हो वैसे.
मैकेनिकल में दिस इज स्पेसिफिक टू द
दो एरोस्पेस
हाँ,
इंडस्ट्री
design.
उस हवाले से.
सो दैट इज व्हाई
हाँ, एरोफेल डिज़ाइन. ओके, पोजेस्ड नॉलेज ये देखें जनाब. सो यू नो वी हैव एक्सटर्नल इनपुट्स. हम जब बात करते हैं पोजेस्ड नॉलेज की, तो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सटर्नल इनपुट्स, जिसकी वजह से एक इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर इज यू नो देयर, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज द बैलेंसिंग एक्ट जो है ना सारी चीज़ों का, दैट इज इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट साइंस. वी हैव एक्सटर्नल इनपुट्स इन फॉर्म ऑफ इकोनॉमी एंड यू नो फाइनेंस एंड द सराउंडिंग्स, इन फॉर्म ऑफ सप्लाई चेन्स. एक चीज़ नहीं आ रही, डिमांड की थी नहीं आ रही, देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग, एंड इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट विल हैंडल इट. एंड इंजीनियर विल नॉट हैंडल इट. इंजीनियर तो प्रोडक्शन का जिम्मेदार होगा. Time and space, and of course humans. You have human interactions in it as well. So HR element बड़ा important है अगर आप बात करेंगे इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट साइंस की. तो विल सी कि किस तरह हम इसको डील करते हैं.
Sir, one question.
सर,
You have used these two terms very
Frequently.
Engineer and engineering management. Where do you draw the line?
okay, to me,
An engineering manager has to be an engineer.
yeah, okay.
And an engineer will at some time in his
or her capacity as an engineering manager.
will be an engineering manager. So where is the dividing line?
Okay, that's a very good question. The dividing line is, you know, the divide is once you have change in point of view. An engineering manager is outward facing, getting the inputs and absorbing the inputs and trying to balance the act at his back in response to those inputs.
Okay.
But an engineer is inward facing, looking at the processes, looking at the activities, looking at the tasks, not concerned with
What is it?
what is happening outside.
A very good word for this may be introvert for an engineer and extrovert for engineering manager.
No, I don't think so. Introvert would really define an engineer, because if you call an engineer an introvert is a very nasty term.
Yeah. So you see,
When he said inward
Yeah.
looking was not meaning to be an introvert. Actually,
You know,
focusing on
the उसी पे ना, उसी पे.
वैसे भी सर कैनवस मैनेजर का
बड़ा canvas है.
100 इंजीनियर मैनेजर
No,
Ah.
my point was that if you look, because all of us are from the defense background, so an engineer in the defense forces.
He's not an engineer, he's an engine manager.
Okay, no, but he's an engineer by virtue of his degree.
Okay, वो फिर वही
By virtue of his degree, he's
हाँ,
an engineer.
हाँ.
Is he an engineer or is he an engineering manager?
You know, मेरा जो experience है, we might be wrong. We are all engineering managers. We are not hardcore engineers, because we are always looking at the external inputs.
Yes, we have got 10% maybe who
Yeah,
practically work.
who practically work 10%, as Umer is saying, 5% or 10% of people. Otherwise, we are engineering managers. Yeah. We are all engineers.
Wherever the word management comes, there are basically 4 functions you have to see: planning, organizing, controlling, and leading. If somebody is performing these 4 functions, then he's a manager. That's what management is about.
But does his role as an engineer finish end up over there?
Oh, it's a very, very debatable question. But
Managing the resources of an
but if you don't have the knowledge,
Thing, staffing as well.
staffing. You must. You have actually studied management. MCC. So FCC has a long-lasting effect. Okay, so you see, the answer to your question is most of the time I think we are engineering managers. We are not typical engineers. Yes, but if you don't have the knowledge of engineering, then it will be very difficult for us to actually manage those all the things. So I think engineering is a supporting knowledge than a thing which actually you can apply on those things. So let's talk about the internal inputs for that matter. Internal inputs कौन कौन से? So we have, ये सारे inputs वो हैं जो आपके पास मौजूद हैं. You have all those skills. कुछ आप में से होंगी, कुछ नहीं होंगी. For example, calculations, computing, feedback controls, communications, thermodynamics, आपने सब पढ़ चुके हैं. And वो nth term तक जा रही है चीज़. So what we are going to do is that हम इस internal input को convert करना चाह रहे हैं.
Fluid dynamics.
Yeah, it should be fluid dynamics. So we are trying to go from tacit knowledge with exposure, experience, observation, and your social behaviors. Social behaviors में क्या आ जाएगा engineering management में? For example, हमारे बंदे जो हैं वो, they actually take extended lunch breaks. After lunch they are at their minimum best maybe. So these are all social behaviors. If if there is a time for prayers, you have to stop work at prayers. That's social behavior. So we are going to convert all of this into formal knowledge. Okay, so we are going to use all of it which is already in this. For example, if you actually imagine the word thermodynamics, तो आपके पास tacit knowledge पहले से है. ये तो सिर्फ formal किया गया उस लफ्ज़ को. ठीक है? So you have all of those things relating to that knowledge. So सारी चीज़ें ऐसी होंगी जो आप पहले से देख चुके हैं, जो आप पहले से कर चुके हैं, उनको हमने सिर्फ formalize करना है into formal words. Okay, so this is what is engineering management. It is a bridge. It is a scientific alignment, a scientific bridging, scientific repair and scientific creation between your possessed knowledge and your content knowledge of this subject, जो हम इस कोर्स में सारों को कवर करेंगे. That ensures lifelong learning. That is what we are going to do. Okay, so this is organizing your possessed knowledge. Okay, so concept को देखें अगर आप, so there are fundamental concepts, then there are scientific concepts, then there are basic engineering concepts, and then there are discipline specific concepts. Engineering management जो है, it is a little beyond this, because अब discipline specific concepts की application है in response to the external environments जिसकी आप बात कर रहे हो. So we are at maybe A+ level of our concept continuum. हम उससे आगे की बात कर रहे हैं. हम basic engineering concepts को छोड़ चुके हैं. We have actually left discipline specific concepts. Some of us are mechanical engineers, some are aerospace, some are avionics. We have already left that. हम उसकी application की बात कर रहे हैं. So we are above the level A, you can say. Okay. So now let's see how engineering concepts are formed. Okay. EM concepts or engineering management concepts are no exceptions. They have the same building base as the engineering concepts. Alright, so they have the same building base. Example, वही बात आ गई. You have a trigger. Trigger क्या हो सकता है? Trigger can be again वही बात, loss of production, loss of man hours, okay, loss of maybe your vital human resource, machinery failing, okay, external environments, fuel pricing going up. All of those are triggers. So you have a trigger and then you have an activation cycle. उसके आगे solution आएगा. So you know this is a slide which actually tells you this. On these pillars your engineering discipline is actually formed. कौन कौन से knowledge होते हैं engineering discipline को form करने के? You have prior knowledge. Example मैं देता हूँ आपको. For example, you have a knowledge of force and you have knowledge of area. अलग knowledge है ना दोनों चीज़ों की. इनको combine करते हैं तो you have pressure. प्रेशर को जब आप कंट्रोल करते हैं यू हैव फीडबैक कंट्रोल सिस्टम. सो इस तरह ये नॉलेज आपस में लिंक होता है. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट एज वेल. यू हैव अ बेसिक मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल, फॉर एग्जांपल स्टाफिंग. यू हैव बेसिक इंजीनियरिंग प्रिंसिपल, फॉर एग्जांपल प्रोडक्शन. यू कंबाइन प्रोडक्शन विद स्टाफिंग एंड यू हैव प्रोडक्शन कंट्रोल. Okay, you have a basic principle of maybe you can say another example can be you can have a basic principle of you can say overstay of leave, or you can say inefficiencies of workers. Then you have an engineering principle of precision and you combine them. So you have another thing coming up. So this is how your engineering management skills are mixed with the basic engineering knowledge and management knowledge. Okay, so you know I have just converted it into Urdu words. For example, area is called jagah, force is called zor, and you have the bow. So these Urdu words are your tacit knowledge. These are your tacit knowledge. Okay. So we start from left. हम बात करते हैं इंजीनियरिंग डिसिप्लिन की और उसको मैं रिलेट करना चाह रहा था टैसिट नॉलेज को विद वट एवर एग्जाम्पल्स आई हैव. बेसिक मकसद कहने का यही है कि वट एवर वी विल बी डूइंग विल बी यूटिलाइजिंग योर प्रायर नॉलेज और उसको हम यूज़ करते हुए इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट डिसिप्लिन को देखेंगे. ओके, सो अनदर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी अगर आप देखें तो दीज आर द टैसिट नॉलेज वर्ड्स विच यू हैव अबाउट फ्रीक्वेंसी. तो आपके पास ऑलरेडी यू हैव लॉट ऑफ एक्सपोजर्स एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. सो व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू इज दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू कैश इन दोज एक्सपोजर्स, और उन एक्सपोजर्स का काम करके हम आपको एक प्रैक्टिकल सोल्यूशंस की तरफ ले जाना चाह रहे हैं. ओके, सो अनदर एग्जांपल जस्ट फॉर योर इंटरेस्ट आई मस्ट से, फॉर एग्जांपल रेजिस्टेंस. अगर रेजिस्टेंस को देखें, सो रेजिस्टेंस हैज मैनी मीनिंग्स इन इंग्लिश एज वेल. So friction, resistance, viscosity, inertia, you can actually make a switch for out of resistance. So resistance is a positive force as well. ये मैं क्यों स्लाइड लाए हैं? इसकी वजह से कि if you have employees which are resisting in doing something, अगर वो resistance उसमें पाया जा रहा है, HR element है. So how can you use that HR element for your own good or for your own skill or for your own enhancement of quality? एक एम्प्लॉय क्यों नहीं वो काम कर रहा? जॉब डिज़ाइन उसका क्या है? ओके, जॉब सेटिस्फैक्शन क्यों नहीं आ रही उसको? वर्क डिज़ाइन क्या है? वो सारी चीज़ें हम देखेंगे एचआर एलिमेंट की होती हैं. बाय द वे, जॉब डिज़ाइन क्या होता है? पढ़ा होगा व्हाट इज अ जॉब डिज़ाइन. जॉब डिज़ाइन क्या होता है?
जॉब डिज़ाइन बेसिकली
जी सर, ये टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट से लिंक है इसका. जॉब डिज़ाइन का ज़्यादातर लिंक टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट के साथ है. जी सर. सॉरी, हाँ टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ है।
जॉब डिजाइन को मतलब किसी भी इंडिविजुअल का
Exactly.
काम है,
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
उसके बारे में आपने वर्कआउट कर दिया कि व्हाट ऑल ही हैज टू डू।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है, लेकिन देखिए आपने कैसे करना है, बेस्ड ऑन द स्किल्स ऑफ दैट पर्सन और all of that technologist, बिल्कुल। सो इट एक्चुअली रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड द पर्सन इन बिटवीन। आपने जॉब डिजाइन ऐसा करना है कि उसके स्किल्स को आप ऑप्टिमाइज कर रहे हो, उसकी स्किल को आप ऑप्टिमाइज करें। व्हाई द व्हाट इज ऑप्टिमाइजेशन? ऑप्टिमाइजेशन क्या होती है?
Get the maximum with the minimum input or minimum cost,
minimum reward.
Minimum रुकावट, that is productivity, I think. Productivity है ना। ऑप्टिमाइजेशन क्या होती है? बिकॉज ये टर्म्स हम यूज करेंगे आगे, सो आई वांट कि हम वैसे ही डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट्स, दैट इज इफेक्टिवनेस।
Optimization means maybe with the advent of new tools and new technologies available, you add on certain things to make the job easier to implement.
Best possible outcome.
Best possible outcome. Optimization is neither the maximum nor the minimum, but according to the environment, the best possible. That is optimal. तो जब भी हम बात करेंगे in the future as well, once we talk about optimizing something, once I'm talking about optimizing your workshop floor or optimizing anything, it is I am talking about, अब देखिए इसमें important चीज़ क्या, optimization में environment आ गई है। Okay, you optimize. Okay, you are always doing optimization. For example, if it is a petrol day, you optimize in your brain. अच्छा अगर मैं जाता हूँ, what is the cost of petrol? Plus, okay, अगर मैं नहीं जाता तो what is the cost of not going there? So you are optimizing. So environment के लिहाज से आप चीज़ कर रहे हैं. Okay. Now, what is the difference between productivity and production?
Productivity is capacity.
Okay.
And production is actually the output.
The formula for productivity is output over input. Okay, let's include another term, efficiency, and another term, effectiveness, because these are the words which we are going to use. What is the difference between these four things? Let's discuss. And by the way, the formula for efficiency is also output over input.
In percentage.
Okay, in percentage.
Efficiency is always in percentage.
All right, whatever.
So it is productivity in percentage. Efficiency is productivity in percentage.
Okay. Anybody else want to take?
Production is the actual output that you get.
And effectiveness.
Effectiveness.
So you see, these are the engineering management terminologies. Now what I am doing is that I am using your tacit knowledge. Yes. Difference between productivity and efficiency. Okay, let's deal these two first. What can be the difference?
That gives you the same thing in terms of percentage. Efficiency.
In percentage. Okay.
Efficiency is desired output.
And productivity is also desired output.
Efficiency is
Actual output.
Time factor. Okay, you know, to me it is like this.
Efficiency relates to the your capability.
Okay, and productivity.
Productivity is the actual
Efficiency within a desired time.
Okay. Okay, to me, you know, it goes like this. Once you are trying to minimize the inputs while maximizing the outputs, this is productivity. But once you have same level of input same है, and you are trying to maximize the output, that is efficiency. For example, आपके पास दो इंजन है और दोनों में fuel flow एक जा रहा है. One engine is more efficient than another one. So maybe that means that the input is same, but in one engine output is more, whereas in another engine, so one engine is more efficient than the other engine. Productivity is a superlative form of efficiency. Superlative form. It is going beyond efficiency, in which you are trying to minimize the input as well while trying to maximize the output. That is productivity. And what is production? Production is simply the more the input, the more is output. So input पे there is no limit to input in production. Whereas in productivity you are trying to gain the best of the best. That you are trying to minimize the inputs and maximize the outputs. So if if I use वही बात आ गई tacit knowledge वाली, अगर मैं use अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल करूँ, productivity is पैदावारियत and production is पैदावार. Productivity is पैदावारियत. तो पाकिस्तान का मसला क्या है इस वक्त एग्रीकल्चर में? पैदावारियत कम है, पैदावार तो बहुत है, पैदावारियत कम है हमारी. पर हेक्टर की जो बात है, इनपुट्स कम करके आउटपुट हम नहीं बढ़ा रहे हैं, पैदावार तो बहुत है. So this is the difference between productivity and efficiency and production. And effectiveness is getting the desired results irrespective of time. If I give you an assignment, I say okay, give it back to me in 2 days, you return it after 5 days, but it is 100% correct. You were efficient, but yet you were not productive, neither you were efficient, you were effective only. So effectiveness is getting to the desired results. So what we want is an ideal combination of all of these 4 things. We want efficiency, but yet we want effectiveness as well, because अगर आप टारगेट पर नहीं पहुंचे तो फायदा क्या है उस चीज़ का, और प्रोडक्टिविटी की हम तरफ जरूर जाएंगे. So we are moving from production to efficiency to productivity, keeping in mind the effectiveness part. So we are always keeping in mind the effectiveness part, and we are moving from production to efficiency and to a superlative form which is productivity. तो हम प्रोडक्टिविटी की बात ज़रूर किया करेंगे जब हम इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट की बात करते हैं. We are talking about productivity a lot, or of course we are talking about productivity in response to the effectiveness part. Effectiveness को हम ज़रूर देखेंगे. So these are these 4 things. तो बात क्या होगी? Again, tacit knowledge. जो आप लोगों ने कहा था all was right, all was but what you were doing was that you are using your tacit knowledge. अपना experience use कर रहे थे, और हमने 4 engineering management terms को आपके सामने ले आए. So this is how it is done. This is how the things will happen. Alright? Okay, so अगर आप देखें रुकावट के लिहाज से भी, so there are many. अब देखिए अगर रेजिस्टेंस ना होता तो डैम ना बनता. रुकावट होती है तो maybe you have stability, maybe arguable, but just for your consumption. So this is the possessed knowledge. Okay, so you have possessed knowledge with you, and now then you convert it into your applied knowledge of engineering management. Okay, so again just for your consumption. रुकावट ताल्लुक़ के लिहाज से आप देखें या अक़साम के लिहाज से आप देखें, बहुत सारे अल्फाज हैं, और डिक्शनरी मुझे अच्छी खासी कंगालनी पड़ गई थी इसके लिए. अगेन रुकावट. ओके, सो वही बात आ गई कि व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू इज़ दैट आई एम टू गो इनटू योर मेमोरीज एंड ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग आउट एवरीथिंग व्हिच यू हैव. सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू हैव अ रास्ता और तरतीब और तलाश. सो इट इज़ ऑल फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ योर already have knowledge in order to gain something out of it. Okay. Alright, so this is what it is. You possess knowledge, and neural networks आ गए जी, neural interfaces. तो डॉक्टर साहब का बड़ा काम है neural networks पे. Okay, so this is what it is. So interface is important. Interface is very important. अगर interface नहीं होगा तो आपको engineering management की इस्तेलाहात नहीं समझ आ सकेंगी. Okay, for example, I have discovered a new word for frequency, मर्तबेंसी, just for your own. ठीक है, तो इसमें दोनों चीज़ें आ जाती हैं. Interface is very important. Okay, so these are the questions which we want to ask ourselves as an engineering manager. ये सारे सवाल हमारे अपने सवाल हैं. Maybe most of the engineers don't ask them these questions, but as an engineering manager you have to ask everything. So we have to look at the solutions. वो जो right side पे मैंने बताया है, everything. क्या, क्यों, कब, where, how, who, all of these things, they actually can lead you to those solutions. Feasible solutions, workable solutions, responsive solutions. Okay, intellectual or optimal solutions. And if you talk about contract management, they actually lead you to contracts. And maybe you have some local solutions as well. So engineering manager is a solution provider, and he asks all of these pertinent questions in every problem. Okay, so this is what it is. If an idea is not good, okay, so there are certain short courses of engineering management available, and they teach you actually all of those things which we are going to discuss very quickly. So you drain it. If you don't drain it, you actually go for work. So what we are at that level, we are at coursework level, meaning that we have effectiveness and we have effective tools with us which will equip us for further teaching of engineering management. So this is the summary. ये वाली मकसद इसका सिर्फ ये था बताना कि इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट के जो शॉर्ट कोर्सेज होते हैं वो भी अवेलेबल हैं. दिस नॉलेज एरिया इज नॉट कि बिल्कुल नहीं है. You have certain short courses. Once those short courses were deemed as effective, then they were developed into a coursework. So we are at the coursework stage, meaning that we are going to discuss all of those tools which have proven in time that they are effective tools for engineering management. So we will discussing all of those tools. जो मैंने आपको कोर्स आउटलाइन में बताए सारे वो टूल्स हैं जो कि टाइम प्रूवन है फॉर इफेक्टिव यूज इन इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजमेंट कंसर्न्स. So this is the summary. Okay. This is what it is. MDix. Okay, so इस तरह आपने क्या देखें अब. This is the EM nucleus. You have general awareness. हमारी बेस जो है वो डोमेन स्पेसिफिक कॉन्सेप्ट से we have moved towards common engineering concepts, then general concepts, then learning, and then the general awareness. So we have a nucleus over there. engineering management का nucleus ऊपर है. short courses जो हैं या short जो courses चलते हैं इस वक्त हर जगह वो इसको peripheral touch करते हैं, but हम focus touch करेंगे. We will touching everything and we will focusing on everything what we have. So this is the work for you. Because we will be actually going to start linear programming in the next class. What I want you to do is that go to this link. This link actually contains, it's a YouTube link. I have a video, my lecture is there actually. This lecture is on linear programming because I am also teaching Coventry University MS Engineering Management program via video link, etc., etc. So I delivered this lecture to the students of Coventry University UK, and this link is linear programming applied in supply chain management, by the way. But you will have a very good idea of what is LP or what is linear programming and the basic concepts of it. You must have studied it in your engineering as well. I think you have, but it is just a fresher for anybody who is interested in what is linear programming. So what we will be doing is that हम इसको second class में हमने linear programming, I will be coming up with the problems. मैं problem set के साथ आऊँगा. मैं चाहूँगा कि आप prior knowledge ले लें इसकी before next Sunday. So in the second class I will be coming up with the problem set, or we will be discussing those problem sets in detail. What is objective function, constraints क्या होते हैं, वो सारा आप इसको देख के आइएगा. तो ये दिस इज द होमवर्क फॉर यू. ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन उसमें 2-3 क्वेश्चन मैंने कराए भी हैं इन द वीडियो, तो उसको भी देख लीजिएगा. सोल्यूशन स्पेस क्या होती है और वो सारा फीजिबल ग्राफिकल मेथड क्या होता है.
मैथमेटिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू
हाँ.
प्रोग्रामिंग के प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वो आई हैव दैट मेबी एग्जांपल आई कैन अपलोड दोस लेक्चर्स. वो भी आप कर दें, वो भी आप कर. प्योर इंजीनियरिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू व्हाट लीनियर प्रोग्रामिंग इज, इन फैक्ट हाउ यू
फॉर्मुलेट अ प्रॉब्लम,
फंक्शन, हाउ यू कम अप विद
कंस्ट्रेंट्स. अच्छा, इसको हम आगे भी टच करने वाले हैं.
You will come up with the, from the management side. How to maybe use the your terms which are not numeric, convert them to numerics and then use the linear programming. So I'll give a lecture.
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं.
Totally focuses on.
I think it has your lecture, the channel उसी पे recorded आपका हो. तो नहीं अच्छा different. अच्छा, उसमें इस तरह है कि हम लीनियर प्रोग्रामिंग को जब कवर करेंगे. अच्छा, ये प्रोग्राम ये एस्पेक्ट एक और जगह कवर होने वाला है, दैट इज MDO, मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी डिज़ाइन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. MDO में हम LP को देखेंगे, लेकिन असल जो आपका ऑप्टिमाइजेशन का कोर्स है वो अलग है, तो उसमें हम नहीं देंगे. ये सिर्फ एक आपको फील होगा कि ऑप्टिमाइजेशन होती क्या है.
What is linear programming?
Linear programming is, sir,
it is for effective decision making.
Linear programming is, sir, it's a very simple tool. It is actually taught in operations research. OR में पढ़ाई जाती है. कुछ भी नहीं है. How you actually, देखिए 3 steps हैं उसमें. There is a narrative problem. उस narrative problem को how you convert it into equations, and then from equations how you convert it into a figure, ग्राफ की सूरत में. अब फिर उसका एनालिसिस, पोस्ट एप्टम एनालिसिस, सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस, वो सारा। सो दिस इज ऑल लीनियर प्रोग्राम। लीनियर का मतलब ये है कि हम वो नॉन लीनियर में नहीं जा रहे टू मेक थिंग्स ईजी। नॉन लीनियर में हम जा सकते हैं लेकिन हम शायद नहीं जाएं इसमें। सिक्वेंशियल क्वाड्रेटिक प्रोग्रामिंग है तो सही, बट अगर टाइम मिलता है तो मैं डिस्कस करूंगा उसको। अदरवाइज आई विल नॉट बी डिस्कसिंग सिक्वेंशियल क्वाड्रेटिक प्रोग्रामिंग। SQP बड़ा इफेक्टिव टूल है इसका लीनियर प्रोग्रामिंग का। तो sir, sorry. Okay, so this was I'm sorry I have to leave early because of my younger sister's wedding, उसका वलीमा है तो इस वजह से। Otherwise मैं आपके साथ होता, but
tell us the location, we try to reach there.
somewhere in Pindi, optimize. तो इस तरह है बस। Otherwise you know this is it। और यार जगह फौजियों की क्या हो सकती है, 2 ही जगह हैं, आप वेट करेंगे आ जाएंगे। वन इज दिस इज AWT मेस पिंडी है, तो आपके घर के पास, तो वहाँ जाना है मैंने, तो इस वजह से थोड़ा सा मैं अर्ली हूँ। अदरवाइज हम आज के कोर्स पे LP शामिल थी। हाँ, आज के उस पर LP शामिल थी, तो वो मैं डिले कर रहा हूँ इसको। अदरवाइज आज हमारा एक्सटेंसिव था कि वहाँ ख़त्म करते फिर मैं LP शुरू कर देता, तो वो ब्रीदर मिल जाएगा और उसमें हम आप YouTube की वीडियो देख लीजिएगा। डॉक्टर साहब विल लोड हिज कंटेंट इज वेल, तो हम LP को डिस्कस करेंगे। मैं प्रॉब्लम सेट के साथ आऊँगा, सो थोड़ी प्रिपरेशन आपको चाहिए होगी। हाँ, ओके, सो नाउ फुरकान विल डिस्कस अबाउट द लॉगिन पार्ट और कैसे दिस लेक्चर विल आल्सो बी देयर।
Okay, my part is to tell you about the learning management systems. Since we are interacting with distance learners and you people as well, so we have built a framework on which we will uploading all the resources which are being discussed in the classroom. So it will be easy for you to go over there and download the resources, and you can upload your assignments as well. So what I'm going to tell you today that how to log in into the system and how to access those material. So
What is the link to the page?
yes, the link is http://abucic Abasyn University Islamabad campus .edu.pk/LMS. Okay, when you go to this page, this is the main page, okay, what you're viewing right now. What you have to do is basically either go to the login section, a login point here, or this login framework, and your username would be your first name and the second name. For example, if Babar Ali is a student, in small alphabets, okay, your first name and second name in small alphabets, that would be your username. Okay, then your password, we have a generic password right now, but as soon as you log in for the first time, it will ask you to change your password. It will force you to change your password. So I'll show you the example in a minute, but right now I want you to know the generic password which you have to enter for the first time. It's capital A, then B, then C, then @12344. This is the generic password which you have to enter for the first time. Okay, and after you enter your password, it will force you to go to a page where you have to enter the new password, and it's your discretion that how you give the new password. Once you enter in the page, it will show you all those courses which you are enrolled in. For example, down to this page, you will have 2 courses which you are right now studying right now. First is Economics and Financial Studies, and second one is Engineering Management Science. What you have to do is go to the relevant page, and you will have a weekly breakdown of your course. Okay, week 1, week 2. On the very upper portion, you have the course material, which is quite generic, which is belonging to the whole course. Okay, for example, the course outline is there, which you were given in the last week. So, and then
in the first week you had this first lecture, slides are available there, and the reading materials you had with you are available over there. So simply you have to go and download them. What I have done is basically I have uploaded all of these things as assignments, and the benefit to that is basically you can make a file of your own and you can upload it. For example, if you want to give feedback, if you want to respond to an assignment, and you have to build an document by yourself and then you upload it. So this is something, you go to that page, simply browse the file which you have made, and you can upload it. Okay, any file, usually the document file which you can make on the Microsoft Word. So this is a simpler form that all your material, weekly material would be available here, all the lecture slides would be available here, and we are trying to put on quizzes as well, so you can have online quizzes, multiple choices, these kind of quizzes, especially the distance learners. It would be easy for them to do those quizzes. So that's the framework. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I hope it's pretty simple, it's not so complicated.
But when you said the first two names,
yeah. For example, I'll give you an example.
What you can do, you can mail the IDs and
Yes, I'm going to do that, inshallah. Yes. मैं आपको आज ही email कर दूँगा. Yes, all right. Actually, in every email मैं नीचे वो अपना लिख देता हूँ ताकि किसी ने कांटेक्ट करना है. It's 0334 800 3834. Okay.
अच्छा इसमें जो बुक्स वगैरह थी वो भी अपलोड करनी है, उनका साइज ज़्यादा है.
I'm going to soon upload them, but there would be a link, and they just have to click the link and yes.
Who has designed this?
ये फ्रीवेयर है, ओपन सोर्स है, ओपन सोर्स है, उसको फिर
कस्टमाइज करना पड़ता है. बस आपको सर्वर पे अपना जो है डेडिकेटेड एक स्पेस लेनी पड़ती है, वो अपलोड करना पड़ता है ये सारा. स्पेशली जो डिस्टेंस लर्नर्स हैं ना, उनके लिए तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है.
इसमें आप क्विज़ को टाइप कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, मैं आपके क्विज़ एक दो टास्क इस पे लेता हूँ, तो क्विज़ को टाइप कर देता हूँ, एवरीबॉडी रिस्पॉन्सेस घर बैठ के देख सकता हूँ.
और ना सिर्फ आप अपना कभी भी मतलब आपके पास डाटा लॉस हो गया तो आप यहाँ से जाके डाउनलोड भी कर सकते हो. हाँ. और दूसरी थिंग, अनदर थिंग इज कि आप अपनी ग्रेडिंग की जो परफॉर्मेंस है ना, वो भी साथ साथ इस पे देख सकते हैं. ग्रेडिंग का भी वो क्लास दूसरे नहीं, सिर्फ आपका.
लैपटॉप खुला होता है ना, तो साथ में
ठीक है.
अच्छा इसमें in case मतलब just a question, I don't know whether anybody would use it. For instance, I want to on a particular thing I want to communicate with Umer साहब.
Yes sir.
So is there a good very good.
ये मैसेजिंग का जो सेक्शन है, ये सून इट वुड बी फंक्शनल.
It's not yet functional.
हाँ, ये फंक्शनल होगा और इसमें आपके टीचर्स के भी आईडीज होंगे. आप उनके साइड पे नजर आएगा कि किसको आप मैसेज करना चाह रहे हो. ठीक है ना, आप उस पर्सन को सिलेक्ट करो, उसको मैसेज कर दो आप. हो जाएगा. इसमें ये देखें ना, ऑनलाइन यूजर्स भी नजर आ रहा है ना. अगर यहाँ पे जितने यूजर्स ऑनलाइन होंगे ना, आप उस पर क्लिक करके उसको मैसेज भी कर सकते हो, चैट भी कर सकते हो. इट्स क्वाइट एक्सटेंसिव.
क्योंकि हम डीएल्स को ना अभी यहाँ पे डीएल्स को हम बोर्ड लाइसेंस देना है, ये डीएल्स के लिए बड़ा एक्सपेंसिव सिस्टम तैयार कर रहे हैं. इस तरह का कि वो